Hello again, and welcome to Interview with DJ Nocturna. I have a new topic of discussion here, which is totally different from anything I've ever done before. I'm speaking with Bill Armijo, who's the president of Trans World Metal, and you're the Hawaii's only certified rep by the U.S. Mint point dealer, and
Correct.
you've been doing this business for like over 37 years or so, since the 80s, which is quite amazing.
Since
Um,
1986, we've been trading in precious and strategic metals. We started out in strategic metals, which are aerospace metals, titanium, cadmium, indium, beryllium, those sorts of things, and metric tons to private investors. And these were investors that were way past precious metals, and they're going, "What else you got?" And so the strategic metals are metals that are on the national defense, national security stockpile list for defense. And so people would buy cobalt and titanium and metric tons. They'd be stored in a bonded warehouse in Rotterdam. And we still trade in that particular area. But now we've shifted since COVID to dealing with defense contractors. So
mm,
we're dealers for the DLA, which is the Defense Logistics Agency, and Boeing, General Dynamics, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, and others.
yeah.
But like I say, in terms of precious metals, we're still dealing with the public in relationship to providing them with hard assets to protect their money against the valuation of the dollar, inflation, taxation, and those sorts of things as far as global instability
Mm-hmm.
and domestic unrest as far as the economy.
So first of all, before we started, I wanted to just ask a little bit about you. How did you get into this business? How did you get interested in gold, in precious metals, gold, silver, platinum?
Years ago, when we were trading in strategic metals, I left a company in Newport Beach. I went to work for a competitor of theirs in Century City on Avenue of the Stars. And it was a situation where I took one person with me, and it turned out that he and I were doing more volume than this guy's 16 guys altogether. And so he actually came to me and said, "Bill, you don't need me. I'm going to set you up with the banks, the bullion houses, the London's Metals Exchange, uh, and everybody that you need to have your own business. I'm going to help you do that." And he didn't have to. He was like, um, he was handling heavy, world class heavyweight fighters and whatnot, um, and had his own business. But his standpoint was, "I'll help you." And this guy was driving Rolls Royce and doing fine. So it was a situation where I was just thankful that someone was willing to do that, and so it started from there. And so we took our clients that were in strategic metals, offered them precious metals because we were dealers then for every bank in the United States and Canada that was at the time offering to fund metals like they fund houses. In other words, you put 20% down, they put 80% down. The metal will be bought 100% and be put in the bank as collateral, and you'd own it. And you could sell it whenever you wanted, but you could control 100% of the metal with 20% equity. And so it went from there to when the bank stopped doing that, we went to 100% equity. And then we started taking on trusts. So we're dealers for the four largest trusts in the US that do IRA accounts in precious metals. So we can roll over any type of retirement account into a hard asset, precious metals, self directed IRA account. And people can own precious metals and buy with money they already have rather than digging in their pockets to actually buy the metal. So the average American has 142,000 plus in an IRA. So, and the thing is, with IRAs, 401ks and 403bs are down 35 and 65% respectively, per even Fidelity, who's one of the largest paper asset IRA people. And they did an analysis of 5 million of their own IRAs and found that they were down 35 to 65%. So the folks that are trying to get out have a place to go in terms of with us going into hard asset precious metals. And history repeats itself. It did the same thing in the 2008, 2012 recession. The markets went down, the S&P 500 hurt, folks lost 50 to 65% of everything they had in their retirement accounts. And so silver IRAs, we rolled them into silver, and silver IRAs went up 111%. And so they were able to gain back everything they lost and then some. So that's what's happening right now. And silver's, you got Elon Musk of the frame of mind that silver's going to go over 100. You got Keith Neumeyer, the head of the CEO of First Majestic Silver Mine, of the frame of mind, which is the second largest in the world, of the frame of mind that silver is going to hit $139. You got some of the financial think tanks looking at 2027 silver at $87 conservatively. So it's got a lot of potential to go. There's a shortage that's so radical right now that the projection used for 2024 is 1,200,000,000 ounces when the world production is just 1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not going to be enough to go around. Or Elon Musk even came out and made the statement not too long ago that the manufacturers of electric vehicles and solar panels were going to start looking to buy silver mines. So, I mean, he was talking in the third person. I mean, come on, Elon, look what you're talking about, right? So he was actually saying that they're looking to buy silver mines to guarantee they'll have enough product in order to manufacture. That's, I mean, he's forward thinking enough to realize that. So what's going to be left for coins for bullion houses that are mints that are out there? What's going to be left for jewelry? What's going to be left for industry? And then Silver Strand Technology recently came about, which will put fiber optics in the Stone Age as far as communications from deep space hypersonic equipment to down 12 miles in the trenches in the ocean. But the communication has no, won't collect dust. It has no interference. It's the best of the best. And even the head of the Shanghai Exchange, before his most interesting disappearance for having said it, came out and stated that the Chinese government was going to start hoarding silver as a strategic metal. And this is what we trade in because of silver strand technology. And so they were going to start hoarding it. You got Putin right now who's buying silver in 1,000-ounce bars as much as possible. So it's like one of those things where it's made the transition right now where it's gone between being a precious metal and a strategic metal. And the U.S. declares strategic metals that, for example, that are on that list, the U.S. is 100% import dependent on, or dependent on other countries where it's unknown who's going to run the country for those products. Like right now, China is cutting off the world for pretty much in gallium and germanium. And so there's a lot of these things where when it comes down to where do you get it, it's hard to get. Titanium back in the day, you could only get from Russia or from Zaire. So the U.S. made deals with Mobatu, who is like ruthless, because rutile sand is where titanium comes from, and he's out in the deserts. They built him an infrastructure, an airport, a road out to the middle of nowhere, and he's going, yeah, there's the sand.
Yeah, it's really interesting everything you're telling me. I'm just like, I don't want to interrupt you. You just kept going on. It's really great. Before we go any further, I just want to just for those people who may not know what exactly is precious metals, because I know you deal with gold, silver, platinum, right? Can you tell us a little bit about what precious metal is for those who have never made an investment in gold or any kind of precious metal?
Okay, precious metals are hard assets. In other words, they've been money for 6,000 years, and they've been a form of trade and barter for that amount of time. Okay, so in relationship to them, folks can like say, you buy them, you hold them, it's in your hand, you got it. It's wealth preservation. It's ensuring that your financial portfolio is sound. It creates a situation where you've got a legacy to leave to your family, to your kids. It's a situation where no matter whatever happens in the paper markets, you have something that's tangible, that's liquidable. When the U.S. dollar is going downhill, the U.S. dollar is depreciated probably 98% from 1913 when the Federal Reserve took over to now. There it is. If in, for example, 1976, you would have put $12,500 in a vault, and right next to it you put $12,500 in gold, and pull it out today, the $12,500 in money would be, who knows, worth like $2,000-3,000 in terms of money back then, whereas the gold would be worth $138,000. So it's gone up radically in terms of the past period of years, 500%. And it stands to go up more, because looking at what's happening with the banks, look what's happening with the world in general. It's safety. It's, you know, you buy insurance for your car, for your life, for your house. This is insurance for people's money. Most people don't understand, not necessarily don't understand it. They've never been shown the way with precious metals, because you go to school, you get married, you buy a house, you buy stocks, because that's how grandpa did it. That's how dad did it. Okay. And those guys that sell stocks don't sell hard assets. So they're never going to introduce you to it because they don't trade in it. We watched that all along. And so from that standpoint, our mission and vision is to educate millions of Americans on the importance of having precious metals in the portfolio.
Yeah,
so
and that's one of the things that you have in your what part of your service here is to diversify your financial portfolio, right?
And well, diversity is important because it's the area where folks can actually put money. You've got a $34.2 trillion deficit in terms of, or I'm sorry, national debt, which creates a situation where, like, how do you bank on that for the future for your family? So how do you make sure that everything's going to be okay in the long run? And if you don't have something that's tangible, the only tangible things that are hard assets are real estate, precious metals, and art.
Yeah,
which is one of the reasons why we just recently opened an art gallery.
Oh, really?
So
Where at?
Online, we signed some world famous artists, and we bought the life works of one.
Oh, wow.
So we're in a situation where we're developing that, and but for the reasons, like I say, of folks having hard assets and a way to protect themselves. Because look at the bond market. The bond market, there's people out there that have bonds that are paying 2%, 3%, and 4%, and now the makers of those bonds are selling the same bonds for 10%. So those folks are stuck with them, because why should anybody buy theirs when they can buy one at 10%? The other thing that we're dealers for is goldbacks.
Yeah, that was a really interesting one. I didn't, honestly, I didn't know that these states, there are like how many, 5 states or something like that?
Yeah, right? There are, and these are goldbacks.
Yeah, I would.
So they're polymer embedded with 24 karat gold. So they're traded in as tender in 5 states: Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, North Dakota, and it's just one of those things where folks are looking for another way to own gold. This is another way to own gold.
So did they sell these gold backs like in that state, wherever that state they're coming from?
We're a dealer for goldbacks. We're the only dealer in the state of Hawaii.
Okay.
For goldbacks.
Okay. And so they can actually purchase something with this, right? In that.
Well, you can buy them, and they're an investment on one hand, and on the other hand, there's a whole list of businesses that take goldbacks.
Oh, okay. And they are 24 karat gold, you're saying, right?
Right. There's 24 karat gold embedded in the polymers of the gold backs.
So what is the material
Look,
of
they're
like is it some kind of paper?
it's a polymer. No, it
Oh.
feels like foil,
Oh.
but
Yeah,
it's a polymer.
and then there's a special wallet you could put it in and you could keep it preserved for like a long time.
Correct.
Mhm.
And they come in increments of $1, $5, $10, 25, and $50. So, there's a variety of them that folks can have. It's just one of those things where there's
Does the
companies that
value
have.
increase with the amount? Like if it's a $50 amount, was
The
that
value can increases over time, along with the price of gold.
oh, okay.
So there's companies that have signs like this that where they'll take them, or it's like, say, it's gold you can spend. But on the other hand, it's a way of holding a different way of holding gold.
Like physical gold, right? Instead of buying
Right.
gold you can wear,
Yeah.
it's another form. And then I know you also your other services that you do is that you you assist helping others when they want to purchase or own their own precious metals, right? You do the delivery, all kinds of things. So can you explain that a little bit more?
Sure. We're with somebody from the beginning to the end, where there's a physical purchase for a delivery that goes direct to somebody, either Federal Express, UPS, or U.S. Postal Service. Okay, where it's insured, you sign for it, it goes directly out to you. No one else can get it. So whatever we make a trade for, somebody gets. We deliver exactly what it is that you buy. Okay, but it gets directly to you. So if somebody buys, whether it's 100 ounces of gold or a 1,000 ounce bar of silver, it's shipped directly to them. Okay, so someone will bank wire funds. We'll make the trade for them. We'll bank wire funds to the bullion house or the mint, and we're dealers for the U.S. Mint, the Western Australian government's Perth Mint, the Holy Land Mint of Israel, the Mexican Mint, the Osborne Mint, the Mason Mint. We just became dealers for the New Zealand Mint this week. So we can buy product from anywhere around. No matter what it is, we can get it. If you have something that you want, we can provide it. We can basically match or beat anybody's deal on it. And so in that respect, we're going to walk somebody through the process all the way to getting it, making sure that they got it and they're happy with it. And everything that we sell is our internationally hallmark bars or brand new product directly from them in mint rolls from a mint. If, for example, you're buying for an IRA account, okay, it's the same situation. You do the paperwork with the trust to open an account. You turn it in online. The trust will then forward your documents to the existing administrator, custodian, and trustee for your retirement account with instructions to liquidate and bank wire funds to your new account. So they'll do that. It takes maybe a couple of 3 weeks, sometimes at the max. They'll bank wire funds to your new account. We'll get a purchase order saying you have X amount of dollars in your account. And so we will contact you and say, all right, your funds are there. What do you want to do? And so whether somebody wants to buy silver, platinum, palladium, or gold, we can make the trades for those, depending on if they want bullion, if they want coins, if they want rounds. It doesn't make any difference, as long as they're IRS approved for being held in a retirement account. So these are Roth and traditional IRAs,
It's like a rollover. You do that as
self-directed.
well, right? Rollover. You do
Yeah. So from that standpoint, we will then let somebody know, okay, we just made the trade for your account. This is what we got. And when the delivery goes to the depository, because it's held in a depository, we're dealers for Brinks anywhere in the country, International Depository Service, or Delaware Depository Storage Company. Then the metal gets delivered to the trust at the depository in the custodial account. At that point, the rollover is complete. Okay, so you made the transition from stocks or bonds or REITs or mutuals to precious metals, hard assets. Okay, you can add to it. The nice thing about it when it comes down to distributions, instead of like them sending you a check, you can request distributions in terms of metal. So from that standpoint, it's not a taxable event, and neither is the rollover. Okay, but it's not a taxable event because they're not 1099ing you because they're sending you the actual metal. So when you sell it, it's up to you to report. I won, I lost, however it is. Okay, but we're not doing that because on one hand, we don't charge tax. We're a California-based company doing business in Hawaii as a foreign company, and so therefore California laws apply. If, for example, you buy from JM Bullion or whoever on the mainland, and they ship here, they're wanting to know, okay, we're sending you, this is the spot price, we're selling you 1,000 ounces of silver, this is the address, what's the zip code? And then they're looking up the zip code on a chart and the tax that goes with the state tax that goes with that. And so it's 4.5% unless you're in Honolulu here, and then it's 6.5% because Honolulu's in for a couple points. They're good at it, and so therefore there it is. We don't have to charge anything because we're have the application of California laws that says there are no taxes on bullion over $2,000. It was $1,500 until about 3 months ago, and then they changed it. So now it's $2,000. So from that standpoint, all our trades are above that. So we're not in a situation where anybody gets taxed. So we don't report to the state. Therefore, they don't report it to somebody, your state, if you're in another state. They don't report to the IRS. So it's pretty clean in that respect. It's all up to somebody when they want to sell or liquidate it. Did you make a profit or did you not? Or did you want to hold it and I'm not selling it on, I'm just giving it to my kids.
So tell us a little bit about platinum. Why is that so rare?
Platinum is probably about 15 times rarer than gold. Okay, for a long time it was being used for catalytic converters. Okay, and then they decided that palladium was more cost effective to use for catalytic converters. And now it's kind of crazy because palladium ended up going higher than platinum, and platinum ended up going lower than gold. But still, it's an excellent buy. There's no question about it.
So
for example,
lower than gold?
Yeah, for the same amount of money that you can buy 1 ounce of gold, you can buy 2 ounces of platinum. So do the math. Would you rather? And so, and therein lies the ratios in terms of metals. Like there's probably an 88 to 1 ratio between gold and silver. So you buy 1 ounce of gold, okay? For the same dollar amount, you could buy 88 ounces of silver. If gold goes up $1, you make $1. If silver goes up $1, you make $88. Which would you rather have? And so, for example, with the if you bought 1,000 ounces of silver, you'd be looking at about $25,000, and you'd have 1,000 ounces. If silver went up $1, you'd make $1,000. Okay, for the same amount of money, you'd end up with basically 10 ounces of gold. So if gold went up $1, you make $10. Yeah. So therein lies the difference. And on the other hand, it's like Warren Buffett says, gold's real pretty, okay? And you can shine it up once a year, but it has no real industrial value of any consequence. Whereas silver, they're using it for electronic vehicles. They're using it
That's true. Yeah.
for solar. And in solar, you know, I looked at what Keith Newmeyer was saying when he said that it was going to $139, and I'm going, where is Keith coming up with this number? And I did an analysis on silver for its use just in solar panels. And in 2015, they were using 77 million ounces just for solar panels. In 2016, it went up by 37 million ounces and did the same in 17, 18, 19, and 20, to where in 2020, it had gone from 77 million to 268 million. If you project that forward, because it's continuing to grow and the
Yeah.
shortage
Yeah.
is still there, by next year, we'll be looking at 698 million ounces for just solar panels, which is basically 69% of the world production of 1 billion ounces. So you can see the where is that shortage going to be taken up,
Right.
and who's going to lose by it and who's going to gain by it. The people that are going to gain by it are the people that own silver. That's why
Yeah.
they was what they call silver stackers. And so
So,
the
you know,
folks that are stacking silver stand to just make a killing in the future.
yeah. So for, I wanted to just go to gold. So I know gold is, when people look at 24 karat, right? It's more, I mean, I would rather get 24 karat gold than 14 or 18. Can you explain that a little bit more on the gold?
Sure, my dad was a jeweler. He used to alloy his own. He used to make um, his own. He make his own 14 and 18 karat gold by alloying. And as a matter of fact, I used to get him the beads, 20 ounce tube beads, so he could melt down in a centrifuge and make 14 and 18 karat gold. But the thing is, what we're trading in is all 24 karat.
Yeah.
We're only trading in pure 99.9 pure product, and whether it be silver, platinum, palladium, or gold. So there's the difference there. In other words, the purity of the product is what it's all about. On the other hand, you can get stuff from some of these guys that buy it from the secondary market. In other words, somebody walks in off the street, I want to sell this stuff, so they have a pile that put it in the pile there, okay? And so you come in and they say, all right, you want X amount, we'll get you that. But it's used, okay? What we sell somebody can be actually graded. We're NGC, we're
Mm.
PCGS, we're PMG certified broker dealers. For grading coins and paper money, MS70 is the best rating, the best grade. It's perfect. Okay. So out of the mint product rolls, there's a percentage of them that are MS70, there's a percentage of them that are MS69, and then it goes down. Okay. But the fact of the matter is what we're selling is gradable at perfection levels. And so from that standpoint, when you take an American Eagle or whatever, and have it graded, and it very well would increase the value of that coin by that grading by NGC or PCGS by 50% or more.
Wow, I'm really intrigued by all of this. I mean, a lot of people don't know anything about how to, people make investments in real estate and stocks, you know, but a lot of people do not know how to do precious metals and gold investments. Can you explain where can they get that? How can they start thinking about that and diversifying their portfolio?
They can just go to, give us a call, email us, go to our website, check in, and we'll get back to them. And from that standpoint, like I say, it's just one of those things where none of the paper asset companies deal in precious metals. It's like there's so many retirement account companies that only deal in the S&P 500. They're only dealing in REITs. They're only dealing in stocks and bonds. And you ask them about it. I was talking to NEA, which is one of the National Education Association, and the Hawaii State Teachers Association, who didn't know anything about precious metals. So they referred me to NEA. And so I talked to this guy at NEA, who they said was their guru, as it were. And he goes, can you educate me? And I said, what does that mean? And he goes, well, I don't know anything about,
Yeah.
precious metals IRA accounts. I go, you're the head of the IRA department. He goes, yeah, but we don't do that. And I'm going, whoa, first of all, you're fired. Second of all, you're asking me to educate you in terms of what we're trying to introduce to you. I'm more than happy to do that, but I just find it ironic that they got you in charge. You seem like a great guy, but the fact of the matter is, I would think that if that was the business you're in, that you'd understand the whole scope of everything around it versus being myopically looking at it from, inside the box, and that's as far as you can see. And then in the end, he still, he goes, I don't know, so anyway, it's okay. I mean, it's just one of those things. You at least lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink.
Yeah, yeah. Silver is I guess for me, I've been buying silver forever, to wear. I mean,
Good for you.
yeah, I love silver. I've had a collection. At one point I got somebody broke into my apartment and stole all my silver, and I had to start all over again. But I build it up. And I love silver. I wear it all the time. I have one right now, and it's I just wouldn't wear anything unless it's pure silver. It's got to be, because I start itching and I start getting all these things in my skin, you know. And so should people, what is your recommendation for silver in regard to buying all these things? I don't know if you can give me your opinion on that one.
Frankly, I think silver is probably the best investment in the world right now.
Okay.
Okay. And basically, I mean, the other precious metals are all going to go up. There's no question about it. Okay. The question is in terms of doing the numbers and seeing that. Like, there was this lady on the other side of the island, Gila, that called. She called and she goes, I like buy safety. And I'm going, okay, like if we were on a boat, I'd throw you life preserver. What kind of safety you're looking for? And she goes, well, gold. And I go, all right, so she had an amount of money that she had $30,000 that she was looking at doing. And I go, so I told her, I go, look at it from the point of view, silver versus gold in terms of the number of ounces that you could get for the same money. And if silver goes up versus gold going up, you end up making a lot more. And it's like, she didn't speak English very good. She goes, put in an email. So I put it in an email, and it took her all of a minute to call back, buy silver. And, and she did, and she's happy, and she's bought more, but it's one of those things where dollar for dollar, bang for the buck, is what you're looking for on one hand. On the other hand, we're looking to help folks. And you can put somebody in something where their money is going to be stuck for a long, long time.
Yeah, right.
Or you can put somebody in something where even if it does take a while, when it does move, and silver is anticipated to skyrocket here, the movement is going to be such that it'll be phenomenal. And the folks that are in silver with those number of ounces are going to be happy campers.
Interesting. Wow. This is amazing. I mean, it's the first time, this is the first time I ever had anybody on the show that talk about, you know, gold, precious metals. So a big shout out to Maureen, actually, for getting us together, acquainted in the.
Yeah, God bless her. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah. Yeah, she talked very highly of you, like I said. And so, yeah, and Transworld Metals has been around for since 1986. And you guys are the broker dealer of precious metals nationwide and worldwide, right? as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we've traded on the London's Metals Exchange. Like I say, we're at this point we're pulling in as many world mints as we can. I'm working with the Bavarian Mint right now, the Royal Canadian Mint, the Royal Mint in England, the Polish Mint, the Rand Refinery in South Africa, um, CIT in Liechtenstein. So from that standpoint, and we're looking to develop a nationwide network of coin dealers and jewelry stores that will trade in world coins
Mm-hmm.
and be able to get them whatever we can to work with their clients as far as collections. The same thing with the U.S. Mint in
Mm-hmm.
terms of their products. So at least folks will get diversified in relationship to what they actually own and be able to have a situation where for the future, for their families, for their legacy, for their financial portfolio foundation, have something to be able to back up what's going on. I mean, naturally, you have to have some money in dollars, okay, just to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to have it all there. I mean, but the dollar, the dollar is a fiat dollar, and every money in the world is fiat money, which fiat money is backed by the promise of the country that prints it. And that's all. We used to be on the gold standard. Now we're not because the Federal Reserve took us off it. Um, and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
But
And you know that.
gold and
Mm-hmm. No, I was just gonna
gold
say.
and silver and platinum and palladium are just straight hard assets. It's solid.
So if somebody was to buy like a gold bullion, and transport it, where would somebody keep one of those? I mean, you keep it at home, or you can take it to a bank, right? To a safe
Okay,
deposit
we
box.
we can open a depository account for somebody at Brinks or um, IDS or DDSC, Delaware Depository, or folks can get a safe where they can put them in the safety deposit box. Um, but you want to keep something safe,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And from that standpoint, as you're collecting, what you got, and there it is, okay? And it's like something you can, like, say, hold in your hand. It's real money,
Mm-hmm.
and it's real future money too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but yeah, like say you want to secure it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, gold and all of these precious metals has always been, where it is. So, and it's getting better, right? So, we just have to invest wisely, I guess. And so I hope this interview will have people trying to understand this value of precious metal and what you can do in terms of rollovers, in terms of you know investments, good investments.
You know, hard assets are the only insurance against the paper dollar.
Yeah.
Um, they that allow you to be in control of your own money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell us about your website. I know people want to go there and just check it out and see what you have. You got your gold backs as well in there. I see that.
Correct.
Uh,
So our website is basically set up um, as an informative area where folks can go and learn about precious metals or strategic metals. The goldbacks were recently added. We've never really sold anything by virtue of credit cards or that sort of thing on it. We're setting up to do that with the goldbacks. So that's in process with our web people right now. But
mm,
most everything else is good cleared funds. So we'll make a transaction or a trade for somebody with good cleared funds. We don't do checks. We don't do PayPal. We don't do any of those things. Our standpoint is folks bank wire funds, and once they're received and verified, we'll make a trade. Like I had, and it's interesting. I mean, we're on the United Department of the Treasury's U.S. Mint's website. I had a guy call and say, "My name is Bob, and where am I sending $100,000?" And I go, I don't know, Bob, where are you sending $100,000? And he goes, well, to you. It's like, who is this? And, and so he tells me his name, and I go, where'd you find us? And he goes, on the U.S. Mint's website. He goes, that's good enough credibility for me. He goes, they're not going to let anybody on there. And I'm going, you are right. I mean, they put you to the eye of the needle. We went through the eye of the needle to be on the United States Mint's website.
Mm-hmm.
They're not playing any games over there. And so it's one of those things. I mean, it's the United States Department of the Treasury, the people that make the money,
Mm-hmm.
and so
That is, yeah. Thank you for mentioning that.
and
So,
so, and so it was kind of funny, he goes, all right, give me the bank wire information. I go, I'll email it to you. Just give it to you. I'll write it down. So I did. And I go, give me your email address. I'll send it to you anyway. And 2 hours later, because he was in a state and it was early enough in the morning, there was $100,000 there. And it's like, this guy's for real, and there's people that are out there kicking tires and stuff like that. And just talking, but there's a lot, the majority of the people that we deal with are serious, they're knowledgeable, they're focused, they're looking at their portfolios, they're looking at their futures, and they're looking at their finances, into, the next decade and whatnot, and beyond, for their families.
mm-hmm.
So these are ways that you can protect and save your family from things. I mean, because the paper asset markets are so volatile; they can go any direction, and you can wake up tomorrow and go, "Oh my God, it crashed," But
Yeah, that's very true.
the,
That's why it's good to diversify, I
it's
guess.
a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster ride. Whereas this is stability. And so we're only going to put somebody in something that's stable and solid and in a situation where it's going to protect them. So we help people in that respect. And like I say, we've never advertised. We're starting to advertise on Maui right now, but I've never advertised in 37 years.
Mm-hmm.
I never had to. I mean, it's one of those things where one person tells the other, who tells the other, who tells the other, and people show up. And so
Oh.
it's just that way. But now with the economy and the world situation, I mean, we're on the brink of World War III. Look at the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that crazy guy in North Korea. Look at the Chinese and staring at Taiwan. Look at what's happening in Ukraine, and they're lining up on the borders for Poland and whatnot already. What's going to happen first next? And even the Secretary of the Air Force, we get insight from, because we deal with in strategic metals and with the Defense Logistics Agency and with all the aerospace contractors. And the Secretary of the Air Force is the frame of mind that by 2025, we're going to be fighting China over Taiwan. And it's because of the semiconductors, because they have over 66% of the world's semiconductors. And they've already done mock warfare to see who's going to win, who's going to lose, how much we're going to win, how many carriers we're going to lose, how many planes we're going to lose. And in the long run, their standpoint is, no matter what, we'll take out the semiconductor plants. Okay. And so it's just one of those things where the national security and that sort of thing, and the reasons, the what, where's, and the why fors of being in some of these complexes is pretty interesting.
Yeah. I wanted to talk to you about the gold backs. I know they're available in 5 states. Now, is that gonna increase to other states?
They're wanting us to spearhead the state of Hawaii, but yeah, it is. There's a number of states they're looking to do this. This is a parallel to what BRICS was doing in Europe with
The
an
currency.
alternative currency.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of conjecture that the dollar is short-lived for being the international currency. On one hand, China wants to take over along with everything else, militarily, economically, and whatnot. But it's one of those things where in the U.S., it's like I say, the good old U.S. of A. I mean, they're coming up with it here, and so I think that it'll pick up as time goes on here, and be a situation where more and more states will do it, to where the amount of places that you could there are places where you can buy a home with gold backs. Okay, so I mean, it's gone that far, and it stands to go further.
So this is a form of currency. So you can buy something with this and can get back change with the same kind of how does that work in that state?
They would give you change back, and if they have gold backs to give back, they do that. Otherwise, they give you back fiat money.
Or you can just, I think this is like kind of, you can keep this, and it's like I don't know. I mean, to me, it's a collectible type of thing, right? It's total collectible.
A lot of people are doing that. We just had a customer in Illinois that did. So yeah, it's just a form of investment, an alternative investment.
It's like coins, you know, when you find coins and then you find some weird thing in it, and you look at it, you wouldn't think there's any value, and then it is. Just like it's like this. I mean, that's how I see it. Yeah. Down the road.
The Justin linked with a guy they're calling, what do they call him? The Libertas. Yeah, Eric. What's the nickname?
Indiana Jones Libertads.
Yeah, there's a gentleman that we work with in Libertas, and they're calling him the Indiana Jones of Libertas. And he actually finds the rarest of the rare Libertas that have blemishes of certain sorts or one or another, and that makes them like radically valuable. And Libertas are like really rare anyway, from the standpoint that they only make what they make when they want to make it, and that's it. Like, for example, the 2023 Libertas just came out in August of 2023. And so, and even in silver, they anticipated making 613,000, which isn't anything. I mean, the U.S. Mint will make 250,000 of a silver eagle. These guys the Mexican Mint is making 613,000, except for they didn't quite make it. So they hit like 465,000. So right off the bat, just getting out of the mint, these things are rare.
Yeah.
And that's why people scramble for them. So like say, we aligned with the Mexican Mint in terms of becoming associate dealers for them, and in relationship to being able to provide our clients with product that comes direct from them. Other than that, folks get stuff out of the secondary market that's been handled, been opened. The mint rolls have been opened, they've been poured out, they're all scratched up, and they put them back in a tube and say, okay, there you go. What we trade in is brand new. It's never been opened. It's sealed by the mint. And then if it's a mint bag with 450 of them, then it comes in a bag. It's kind of a canvas bag with a steel seal on it. Justin might have one here. But it's like an old kind bag. And like I say, they're unopened. No one's ever touched them. So you get a product that is pristine.
Wow.
Yeah. Versus something that's recycled. These are this is one of them, because we bought bags of these. And yeah, they're like the old bank bags from Wells Fargo type of thing. But yeah, they're sealed with a wire numbered seal at the top. And so selling them, keeping them, and selling them later, I mean, these things appreciate like crazy. That's why people ask whatever they want for them. You know,
No, I mean, That is so. I mean, if somebody was to make an investment, you got to choose it wisely. It's so important to choose a wise investment. So I think your this interview has been an eye opener, and I hope it will yeah, get people to think about a lot about what you're saying.
No, it's like the Holy Land Men of Israel came out with 2023 Doves of Peace, but they only made I think 75,000,
Yeah.
which was like nothing. And even you look back in terms of the U.S. government and the Morgan silver dollars back in the day, whereas the lowest mints were 125,000 type things, and those things like skyrocket later on down the line. So in terms of what folks buy, what they go into, um, we look for that for the standpoint of getting something that in the long run is going to not only be valuable but appreciate and do them right.
Yeah. And
So we want somebody to be happy and satisfied when we come back. We want to tell their friends, we want to tell their family, we want to take care of them too.
yeah, you got to feel stable, secure, and know that when you're sleeping, your money is growing, and that's how you're making money while you sleep, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where a lot of people can sleep with precious metals, whereas, like, say, with the stock market and some of these other markets, you seriously wonder, like, where are you? Where are you going to be tomorrow? What's going to happen? And those markets are so dependent on what Jerome Powell says or what the numbers come up in terms of employment, this, that, or the other thing. And a lot of that stuff is manipulated anyway. So you stop and you wonder, like, what's solid, what's real, what can I bank on? What's going to carry me into the future safely? And safety is everything.
Yeah.
And that's where hard assets are safe. They're
Yeah.
solid, they're the future. And like I say, when everything else goes the way of the dodo, they've been money for 6,000 years, they're going to be money for the next 6,000 years.
True. Yeah.
When everything else goes to the side, they're still going to be there.
Yeah. There's a history of that. So, yeah. Well, God, thank you so much for this amazing educational interview. Uh, if people want to, of course, look you up, it's TransWorldMetals.ltd.com. Just to Transworld. I'll put the link on the bottom of the interview, the page, and I
Okay.
see it across the screen as well. And you are based in I know you're in is it Maui? Where are you?
No, we're on the Big Island of Hawaii and
Big
Kona.
Island. Okay, the Big Island. Uh-huh. Yeah. So but you have anybody can just look you up and you work with everyone, and not just people worldwide but nationwide as well.
You bet. And maybe you could add the Instagram is that at Transworld Metals,
Okay. Yeah. And I follow you there, and
if you would.
yeah, of course, definitely. And there's a number. I'll put all the link and all that in the on the page. But thank you so much for this very informative and educational interview. Bill
Okay.
Armijo, president of Transworld Metals.